journey encompass the lineages, religions, traditions, and all that bring light throughout us to shine. I say all of this in the name of I am. So I'm just going to start with the corners. I'm just going to slowly move through. And just going to slowly. Just so let's start by just going through that first layer of energy. And I want you to be very patient here as you go through it. And let's just let each little bit just fall. Just fall. Just release. And let it go. 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 Just going through and just tracing your energy here. Just kind of floating in to you. Finding this balance. This balance. You know what your perfect balance is. And allowing yourself to grow have a special healing session. We are healing your deepest self. So if you're new to the community, welcome, 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 sweetheart. This is your nightly self-care routine. And if you're returning back, so much love, so much care, and so proud of you for holding this space for yourself. I'm a facilitator of this space, but you do the power. Don't ever get it confused and think that it's me. It's not. It's you have the power. You hold the power. And as long as you show up for yourself and take care of yourself, that's the most important thing. So let's get started. Now, let's just work on shifting the energy. Because before we start getting into oh, life is happening to me type thing, don't want that to be the case. We're going to quickly shift it somewhere else. So just breathe in and out. Release and let that go. And start to see the life you want. That's it. Keep it very simple. Whatever life you want. Don't overthink it. You'll have plenty of chances to think about the life you want again. Start to see the life you want. Okay. Now start to make some decisions. What do you want in this life? And everything in the life has to make you smile. Like, it has to be peace, calm, happiness, luxury, baby. You want to have all that kind of feeling in whatever it is. And of course, your definition of all of these things is most important. It's not what you think somebody wants for you. It's what you want for you. So whatever just makes you happy and fun, go with it. Now, see what you need in front of you. Whatever it is that is going to bridge the gap, whether that is income or love or friends or connections, whatever that is for you, see it in front of you. Breathe into this. Relax into this energy. Start to get familiar with it. And sometimes we don't feel like we deserve something, so just ease on back in. Or sometimes we have so many things that we want, we're like, what shall we focus on? Just choose one, sweetheart. That's okay. And just work with the energy. You know, it's very interesting because when I work with clients, it's very tailored to their specific life at the moment. And working in this collective space, it is really about opening up this collective energy or this opportunity for all of us. Everybody who is watching this session, participating in this session, to bring this collective and combined energy into the space in order to raise the vibrational frequency, i.e., get us to wherever we're trying to go. You feel me? So the work you do, it helps you, but it unconsciously and passively helps another person too, because of the way that you are setting your intention here. So just breathing through this, inhaling and exhaling. Occasionally you'll see me do Reiki symbols. Other times you'll see Metatron healing hand positions. Both I am trained in. But as a seasoned practitioner, I believe in the intuitive healing experience. And so I'll do whatever the energy calls for. My practitioners know how I am. I'm always telling them, develop your own unique healing style. Learn as much as you can because you want to have as many tools under your tool belt. But help the collective in whatever way is best for you, if that makes sense. Whatever is your unique way, don't do it the way that I do it. Do it the way that you are being called to do it. And so this opening up is going to the deepest part of you. The deepest part of you, sweetheart, and just opening it up to just cleanse out. So occasionally I'll be quiet. I'm usually doing a blessing or pulling in source energy or whatever it is you believe in to cleanse that area. So I'm still with you, but just breathe deeply as I'm doing this. Pulling in the goddess vibrational good. The energy for the greatest understanding. and surrendering to your greatness. That's the most important part. Surrendering to the highest self that you are able to present in this experience. Don't shy away. Don't give up on yourself. Don't look the other way. Just face who you are. Face your strength and your beauty and your resilience and your understanding and your peace. Face all of that. Face the gratitude that exists within your body, within your heart, within your soul. And move through that vibrational frequency in that direction. Letting go of anything that's coming up. So as we do the work, it is not about reliving past trauma. It is about looking at it from a very bird's eye perspective and letting things go. Just washing. It's like washing a dish. You're just washing the dish of your soul, of your vessel, of your body, and just let it go. And feel this beautiful energy just flowing through you, cleansing all of that, the deepest parts of you. And just, when you got a cup, you got a little bit of the soap in there, you just we're gonna do that. And you all know I'm paid in smiles, so I need those smiles. And bringing that in, just pouring that out, bringing that in, pouring it out, bringing that in, and pouring it out. Okay, so I'm gonna be quiet a little bit. Again, going in to do the blessing. This is just where you want to just continue that process of just pouring out, pouring out, pouring out. As a healer, I often feel like it is important to have whoever you're working with. So this is for all my healers out there. Whoever you're working with, to feel as much a part of the healing and in control of their healing than it is just something outside of them. Because you never want someone to get into an unhealthy relationship thinking that the solutions are always external. No, the solutions always start within. We're having this session to reprogram you and retrain you to find that strength to do that self-healing until you can get to that space on your own, or to help maintain if you are in that space. Okay, breathing in and out here. So I'm gonna be quiet for a little bit. I'm still with you. Just bringing in the highest potential, the source of energy, and allowing the energy to flow. The greatest amount, understanding and potential. Believe. Give it no matter what. Okay. So, I'm going to do some Reiki symbols because I want to cement it. Reiki symbols are sigils, and they, to me, represent the combined energy of any person who has ever used a Reiki symbol for the highest vibrational good. So that is what we're sealing this with. We're sealing your deepest self with this, okay? Exhale. Okay. So how are you feeling? Okay. I just want to check in yourself. Breathing in and out. Okay. Opening you up. Relaxing into this. Smoothing through that energy. Finding peace and clarity in that. And relaxing into it. What's coming up? I'm going to do a collective reading in just a second to see if there's anything, like any messages. But I want you to look first before I get there. I want you to be clear about what's going on within yourself before I get to the collective message. Okay? I don't want you to just hear the collective message and be like, oh, that's what's going on with me. No, I want you to look at yourself first and then see if they compare, okay? So I'm going to give you a couple more seconds of me holding the space, pulling in this energy for you to just look over yourself. What do you need? What's going to heal you? What's going to get you to where you want to go, baby? Okay, sweetheart, what's going to get you? Okay. Just a couple more seconds here. Then I'm going to go into the collective message. I'm already getting it. Okay. So just breathe in and out. Inhaling and exhaling. Releasing and letting go. So 2 words came up, and the first word that came up very strongly was power, and the second word that came up was freedom. And so power and freedom, it is accepting your power and granting yourself permission to have that freedom. You are in full control of your life, your money, your love, your health, your wellness, whatever it is, you are in full control of it. And you have to give yourself permission to be in that. Right now, if you feel not balanced in some area, it's because you're giving your permission away to someone else or something else. You need to take it back. Take back that you have the freedom to do so. Take it back and own that power. But here's the thing, a lot of times people give it away because it requires a lot. It's a very big responsibility to know that every part of your life you create, so you get the credit, okay? But everything that happens that you don't like, you also are responsible for correcting it. It is never a situation in which you are a victim and life is just happening to you. There are pretty messed up things that happen to people's life, and when you're a child, it makes sense because you're in a vulnerable situation that you could see yourself as a victim. But as an adult, you have the strength to be stronger than any obstacle that shows up in front of you, and you have support in the physical. If the obstacle is tough, there's mental health professionals and advocates. There are all kinds of supportive groups. There are all types of positive hobbies. There's things like life coaches. There's things like energy healers. There's things like medical doctors. There are all these people here to support you. And money should never be a reason why you can't get support, because if there's a will, there's a way. Meaning there's a lot of great resources that are for free. It just requires the effort. Now, if you're at a state, or if you know somebody who is at a vibrational state where they're just like, I don't even have the effort to get up, the first step is believing that you are worth it. If you can get to that first step, believing that you are worth going all in, not giving a damn about what anybody else thinks except for you, everything else will be much smoother than you think it's going to be. But you have to know that you are worth it. You have to value yourself in the way that you would want someone to value you, but you have to value yourself more important, or you have to value yourself greater than anything else. That this life you live is important, and what you've been sent here to do is important, okay? So breathe through this. Exhale. And going to the deepest parts of you, release all of the baggage. Just let it go. And start to fill yourself back up with your true power. share into the collective space. So don't dim your light just because it doesn't feel right. No, sometimes you gotta figure out how to share the gift or find gratitude for living, even during the tough times, even if that means you gotta go slower than you usually go. Sweetheart, you see what I do. If I don't feel like doing something, I don't do it. I'm not about to be over here losing my mind over something that's small in the day. If I don't feel like doing it, I'm not going to do it. And when I feel like doing it, I do it. But most importantly, I always dream big. I always hold myself accountable for the long term. And I try to show up and be a reflection of what I expect from you. Because I see the beauty in you, okay? So peace. I'm a Reiki master teacher and intuitive, and today we have a special session. It is all about removing stress and anxiety. So for all the overthinkers, let's calm the mind. Maybe you have some good ideas that pop up, but let's just relax, okay? So if you're new to the community, welcome, babies. This is your nightly daily, or whenever you come here to do whatever it is that you do when you're in this space. Self-care routine. And since you're new to the community, you're now one of my babies, so you get one kiss on the forenoggin. And for all my returning babies, multiple kisses. Mama loves you. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Do I have your permission to say a prayer? It is not a religious prayer, and because consent matters, do I have your permission? Okay. You ready? I need to let you lead this. I've said over 1,000 prayers. Next time, it's something else. See, it's a different thing. Maybe it has to do with love. You want to find the right person for yourself. Okay? You cannot control making this person show up. I don't care how many spells or petitions you do. Now, don't get me wrong. You can put that out there and people will show up. You better have excellent discernment or people will be wasting your time. That's why I'm saying, like, when you start meddling with the universe, be prepared for what shows up, baby, because it's gonna show up anyway. Like I was saying, you cannot control or force someone to love And I think what helped me to manage it and to get it under control was first, the same thing I've been saying to you all, I changed my environment. So the environment could no longer be a trigger. And then I started to change my habits and my mindsets, my beliefs, and all of these things so that I could learn how to react in a different way, how I could interpret information in a different way. Because, being in a new environment doesn't mean you don't interpret things in the same way. And then finally, the last thing I did was I put together a system. So whenever I'm feeling anxious, what do I do to feel better in that moment? Also, what do I do on a routine basis to help with anxiety? So for me personally, I take movement. That means I go to the gym or I take a walk. Doing those things, I do it 2 times a day. Doing those things just makes me feel good, does. And if I feel any anxiety, I will go and take a 20-minute walk. Low impact. And I always feel better and I always come up with really good ideas. So I'm just saying, there's a lot of ways that we can do things. So it's up to you. You don't have to do that. It's up to you of what you want to do. But use your brain for good. don't use your brain for hurt. Use the power within it. If you've got big ideas, big thoughts, trust yourself, believe in yourself, give yourself space to explore that. You might surprise yourself for what you come up with and what starts to appear in your life. So I hope that you are feeling less worry and less stress. Typically people say they do feel less worry after they talk to me. I think it's because I'm like, yeah, you could be sad, but right now we about to solve this problem. And I think as soon as someone figures out a solution to what they're worrying about, it kind of takes the power away from it. I'm like, you can worry on your own time. We about to come up with a solution. And then you're just like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll go back to doing what I was doing. Well, babies, I hope you enjoyed this session today, and I hope you feel better. You feel calm. You feel inspired. You feel energized, okay? With the way that I look at my life and see all of the things that I have found a way to get to the other side, I love that our space is a place where we can practice, continue to learn, and apply. So whenever I'm facilitating spaces or whenever I'm opening up the community, it is just giving you all an uninterrupted space so that you can work on yourself and not have to overthink it or anything like that. Just keep going. Literally, if you keep going, you're going to get somewhere that'll really make you feel balanced. And you're like, I think I like this. So babies, if no one has said, I'll also go by Chad. What's up, everybody? I'm a Reiki Master teacher and intuitive, and today we have a special healing session. It's going to be another mini series. It is about healing your feelings, how you feel, your heart, the energy, the emotion behind things. So we're going to be doing some balancing of that today. So if you're new to the community, welcome, babies. This is your nightly or daily self-care practice. So you just take care of yourself and you just be consistent. I don't know if you've checked the community post, but I put a question out there that said, how long have you been a part of the community and how has this community impacted your lives? So feel free to share that in the comment section or in the live too. So let's go and get started. We start this session off with a prayer. It's not a religious prayer, it's just a prayer to root us in our individual healing experience and bring us together as a community and as a collective. And because consent matters, to have your permission to say a prayer. Okay, you ready? Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Let's do this. Dear universe, and all for the highest vibrational good only, please connect us to our highest self and validate information for our highest good only. Please allow us to release what we need to let go and embrace what allows us to grow. Let our journey encompass the lineages, traditions, religions, and spiritual paths that bring light out through us to share with others. I say all of this in the name of I am. Ashe, 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 okay. So just in this moment, just relax and take it as you exhale, allow them to just drain on down. Again, just drain on down. If you've ever watered a plant, you have to put the plant in a dish in order to let the water drain, hydrate the soil, but also be released. So maybe this is an opportunity to look at emotions as things that can nourish us, can impact us, can motivate us. But when they're stuck on us, that can be a problem. Just like if you don't drain the water out, it creates root rot. So just work through that. Now, just place my hand on your feet. Or it could also be your knee too. Inhale. Exhale, release. And just feel exhale of the breath just rolling down. Trusting in yourself, trusting in the process. Just rolling down, rolling down, rolling down, rolling down. Okay. Okay. And relax. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Again, inhale. Exhale. Release. So again, we're just going to allow the energy of your feelings, your emotions, to be released. Take the message that they bring, whatever that message is, carry it with you, but release and let it go. I find that some people hold on to the feeling, whether it is a happy feeling and you don't want to move on past that point in life, past that person, past that situation. So it becomes enabling, or a sad feeling, a feeling of struggle, a feeling of trauma, a feeling of something that maybe you haven't had a moment or an opportunity to process. So it's almost like you're kind of stuck in a circle over and over and over again. And sometimes we got a combination of all of those. One way to release and let this energy go is to practice inhaling and exhaling and releasing. When we move our air, we move the energy. Try it. When we move our air, we move the energy. When we move our air, we move the energy. When we move our air, we move the energy. When we move our air, we move the energy. Good job. Just keep going. Keep going. Now, I want you to take inventory of your body. Pay attention to anything that's happening in the body. Are there certain places that feel like they hurt, or certain places that it's not a good or bad feeling? You're just drawn to that area. Whatever that is, focus on that and send your air again to that area. Okay. Just work through that. myself. I trust the process of life. I trust myself. Say it. I trust the process of life. I trust myself. I trust the process of life. I trust myself. Keep saying it. I trust the process of life. I trust myself. I trust the process of life. I trust myself. And keep working with that energy. Keep flowing forward with that energy. And move, shift, balance, and focus. Focus on what really matters. When we go about life, we have what we feel. This is what I feel like doing. This is what I want to do. This is where my goals, my desire, my dreams are. And then we also have what we think, which we're going to be working on next. But our thought is how we strategically think about things. What makes sense? How do we take our dreams and connect the dots? But sometimes those two things can be different. You can have a dream that does not make sense, and you can want to do something that makes sense that you don't want to do. You know, if you ever forced yourself to do something for someone else, take on a role, a job, a dream that someone else wants, just because you think it's the right thing to do. I see it all the time with people doing get rich quick things, like they think it's the right thing to do. Child, that's a whole nother story. But regardless, connecting the heart and the mind in these moments takes balance. So what I like to do is allow the heart to tell us where we're going, what new direction are we going. But as well as there's the mystic community where we continue our esoteric learning, mindset training, and surrounded by those who want to see blossom into bloom, blossom into bloom. I am Jessica Zup. I'm a Reiki master teacher and intuitive, and today we have a special healing session. It is all about sleep. So, deep sleep, of course, to invoke feelings of love, connections of love, for you to love yourself, and to bring that beautiful love into your life. So welcome, babies. This is your nightly self-care routine, daily self-care routine, or whenever you come to take care of yourself, okay? So if you're one of my new babies, you get one kiss on the forehead. All of my returning babies, multiple extra kisses. Mama loves you. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I want to let you know that if you would like to experience being my apprentice, you can join the pre-week. It starts March 19th and it's from March 19th to March 26th. I just looked at it too. I was like, it's from March 19th to March 26th. The apprenticeship full kicks off April 2nd. But if you would like to experience a week in the apprenticeship free, come on over to experience it. You can use the link in the bio. And of course, if you want to know anything about anything I'm doing, either I'm on my website, reikihealinghope.com, or I'm on the mpcommunity.com, the My People app. So come on over there, okay? And time's a ticking, baby, because once this apprenticeship gets started, it gets started. I may run it in the fall, I may not. I do things based on how I feel, baby. And I'm being very intentional at the fact that there's going to be a lot of you all who are going to be going into your Saturn return in Pisces. It's going to be tough. And so if you would like to use this apprenticeship to anchor down in your own life, feel free to do so. I just wanted to give you an opportunity beforehand. So let's go ahead and get started, okay? So we're going to start this session off with a prayer. It's not a religious prayer. It's just a prayer to root us down in our individual healing experience and bring us together as a community and as a collective. And because consent matters, to have your permission to say a prayer. Okay, let's say a prayer. Dear universe, and all for the highest vibrational good only, please connect us to our highest self and validate information for our highest good only. Please allow us to release what we need to let go and embrace what allows us to grow. Let our journey encompass the lineages, traditions, religions, and spiritual paths that bring light out through us to share with others. I say all of this in the name of I am. Ashe, 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 okay? Ashe, ashe, ashe. And I want you to experience gratitude. Gratitude for this moment, for the love that you already have in your life. And even if you don't feel like you have love, you always have access to love. You have to choose to use it. So just say thank you. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the love. I feel it in my heart. I feel it in my soul. I'm going to keep experiencing that. So as you are going to sleep, I don't know, I just felt like this might be relaxing. I think I like the pressing sound more. I don't know. But as you're falling asleep, I want to connect you with love, okay? So just relax your eyes. Again, we had this conversation before. Prop your phone up, don't let it hit you in the face, and just relax.
inside of yourself. Don't rush it. Walk with yourself. It will be worth it. Can you imagine how someone's gonna feel when they finally meet you? They're gonna feel like everything they experienced was worth it to find you. So instead of trying to rush to get there, know that you are the prize. They are the prize. Take your time. And as you know, they are dreaming of you and you are dreaming of session. I hope that you allow love to flow all around you at all times, and know that you are connected to a greater love. Whatever your belief in the divine, the universe, God, whatever it is out here for you, or if it's not anything at all, as I say all the time, that's your business. I don't care. I got my own thing going on. But whatever you believe in it. You're never alone. You're always connected. Love lives within you, whether it is a divine mission or simply just your free will to choose the emotion of love rather than something else. It lives within you, and if you have the ability and the free will to do so, actively choose to love, actively choose to be grateful, and start with loving yourself. Start with feeling a sense of gratitude of just being happy to be alive, loving this life. There is love, there is beauty in every crevice of your current life, no matter how you feel. So breathe it in and out. And as the more you get connected, the more you'll go forward into whatever kind of blue. I am Jessica. Sup? I also go by Jet. I'm a Reiki Master Teacher and intuitive, and today we have a very special healing session. We're going to be working on some cleansing for this upcoming retrograde.
ends with smoke, okay? So it is up to you which one you want the most. And we're just going to do all of them pretty much. Okay. So I think the easiest one to do is this one right here. So I always say, use what you got. So whatever you got in the kitchen, use. So inhale. has a sweet taste to it, but it's not the same as sugar. Licorice is like that too. It has that sweet taste to it, but it's not the same as sugar. And I guess now I care a little bit more about how things impact my body than, when you're younger, you're just like, you don't care. Try to have a good time. So I personally would enjoy a licorice smell. You know, I don't think anything is wrong with that. Anything is wrong with that. Like a nice little licorice smell to it. Okay, so I'm going to go back to just place that on the side. And if I can get this mugwort to light, I'll do it. The mugwort is a little bit tough because it is that powder on the bottom. Mugwort is something that I really enjoy using because you can find uses for it both in cleansing, across various cultures. You can find uses for it in cleansing across various cultures as well as consumption. You can eat it too, both for medicinal reasons or just culinary reasons. And what really got me researching mugwort is I was doing some ancestral work all of last year. And when I got to Korea and started learning about Mugyo and Korean shamanism, I noticed that mugwort was a very important herb that came up. And so it was something that I looked into more and started to add it to my practice. And a really, really cool thing happened to me the first time I used it. So I lit some, and I had some at my altar, and then I went into a channeling session, and I had an idea of what I wanted to do in that channeling session. So I went in the session, and I mean, the way that you would hear it being said would be like, I received all these downloads, but the way that I'm going to say it is like this. When I was in that session, it connected me with my ancestors, my Korean ancestors, and I was able to get a lot of information that honestly I should not be able to have access to. So it was extremely helpful and really enlightening. It was very powerful. It reminded me of the first time I ever used the crystal blue kyanite. I'm trying to see if I had one near me or if I just had black kyanite near me. But blue kyanite can be really nice because it also can, really strengthen the third eye, strengthen the throat, strengthen sight, vision, and things like that. So, So yeah, I burned this mugwort and I was able to channel my grandmother, who I intended to channel. But I ended up getting my great-grandmother, which was very fascinating. Neither of these people have I ever met. And it's very interesting for those who are interested in channeling. There's clearly a language barrier because I'm speaking English and they're speaking Korean. But what I notice is that in communication, especially with those, that have transitioned on, what tends to happen is that you're communicating, but you are not limited by speech. And so energy that is, on the other side, or just energy in general, you still have to have boundaries. You don't keep your front door open for everyone to walk in. And so don't be so excited to have this energy in your life and just say yes to everything. You still need to exercise boundaries. So if you struggle with boundaries in the physical, you will probably still struggle with boundaries in the esoteric, which can show up as things like people being empaths. It can also show up with fatigue and different things like that. Learn how to say no. Learn how to negotiate your path. Don't feel like just because you have a gift that you are required to do that thing. Sometimes we can come into this life with very wonderful abilities that we don't want, and maybe when we want to go and develop other abilities that we don't necessarily know yet, and it is up to you to decide what you want to spend your time doing, developing, and cultivating. When I was a little girl, I had the gift of hearing. So I was clairaudient. And with this, let me say it in the technical term. I'll say clairaudient, but technically that's not what was happening. Clairaudient means the ability to know something that you should not be able to know, and the way that you receive the message is through hearing. What I was experiencing was mediumship through hearing, which technically is a different thing. And of course, these are things that we talk about in the energy healing practitioner apprenticeship and stuff like that. But anyway, back to what I'm saying. And so I had the gift of hearing, and I can't say that it freaked me out. I just felt like it was very inconvenient, and I got to the point in my life, actually before I really started focusing on being a practitioner, that I just told the universe, no, I don't want it. And I know that that's kind of interesting for people, that why would I say no? session with me or an attunement with me and you're feeling like really, really nervous, and I can feel that. And so typically what I try to do is kind of draw the energy out of that, just, take that out and just let it be, will exist. No expectations, and we do what we need to do. But, I had no intention of telling that story, but I guess that's our Mercury in retrograde story. Maybe sharing too much. But our Mercury in retrograde story for the week. So let's take some moment for you to be able to channel or to meditate,
trust that you can flow forward in this direction. Trust that you have everything you need. Trust that it will work out. So keep breathing here and just allowing that energy to wrap in front of you, around you, to the side of you, and filling yourself up. Take a breath in. Exhale. Take another breath in. Exhale. One more breath. And exhale, release. Now just bring your awareness back into your body here and just relax. I want you to pay attention to any words that are coming up, any feelings, any sensations. Remember them, they are important. And if you are feeling good, stay in the moment. Stay in the moment. Stay in the moment. Keep on breathing. Find your truth. Find your reality, even if that truth and that reality is just now in this
retrograde in Libra, right? A lot of love and partnership themes going on. So if you're new to the community, welcome, babies. This is your nightly self-care practice. And if you're returning back, Mama loves you. So let's go ahead and get started. So if you're new, we start the session off with a prayer. It is not a religious prayer, just a prayer to root us in our individual healing experiences and bring us together as a community. And because consent matters, do I have your permission to say a prayer? Okay, babies, take a deep breath in. Exhale. Just let it go, okay? May I touch you? Okay. Just relax. Okay, relax. I'm just gonna place my hand right there on your third eye, okay? And just breathe through it. Dear universe, and all for the highest vibrational good only, please connect us to our highest intention and validate information from our highest self only. Please release what we need to let go and embrace what allows us to grow. Let our journey encompass the lineages, traditions, and religions and spiritual paths that bring light out through us to share with others. I say all of this in the name of I am. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. So I'm gonna go with the Reiki symbols. My sweet little babies, just to get us started. Okay, so sweetness, just breathe in and out and relax into this moment. Feel free to drift to sleep, drift to slumber, and relax. Or you can channel or go into a trance session here and breathe through this, okay? And relax. Be sweet to yourselves, babies. Be kind, be loving. Give yourself all this beautiful energy. Okay? And shower yourself in this beautiful gift of love, compassion, forgiveness, kisses, all that sweet stuff. And just relax in the moment. Now you know I'm paid in smiles and YouTube ad revenue. Y'all know I'm gonna be cheesy. I just do things to make you laugh because when we do this work, the more that we're just relaxed, let's just be relaxed, okay? So just breathe through this and just be yourself. So clearing away past pain and giving you a fresh start in relationships, in love, in connection. You deserve the love you are looking for. You deserve the beautiful peace and space that you need to develop yourself in a romantic and in a self-love way. You deserve all of these things. So let's just recalibrate your energy to that frequency that best serves your life force energy. And for you to fill yourself up with this beautiful energy surrounding you that is love and compassion. So let's just realign your energy because it's like, so let's bring it back in, okay? Sweetness, we're just gonna bring this back into line because sometimes when our energy is spread out too wide, we're all over the place. Let's just bring it in and just narrow it. We want laser focus on our understanding of this. So I'm gonna go in and do some past work, relieving any pain that is surrounding partnership or those that have hurt you in the past, or if you have hurt others in the past. So going in and releasing the need to hold on to any pain So, it's actually a very cute message. It is like a cloud with you lying on the cloud, and the cloud is almost like your bed, and you're just, you know. And the way I would interpret the way that it's coming across is you're looking for comfort right now. There's a lot of things that have taken you out of your comfort zone, and you're just looking for comfort at the bare minimum. Something that feels like home, something that will finally let you just put your bags down and relax. And so let's work on that during this session. It was so cute. You were so cute in those clouds. It's like, oh my gosh, that's so freaking precious. So let's just move this energy through and just work through layers, you know, letting go one at a time, releasing and unzipping ourselves to the next part of us. It's like Shrek, the onion with layers. So let's just move it through and work through this energy. And I'm just going to slightly remove any lower vibrational experiences that no longer resonate with you in this moment. And I'll just help you do this as you release it yourself. Breathing through the space where you can find yourself again, and you can realign yourself with the love that you deserve, with the love that brings you smiles, with the love that brings you kisses, with the love that brings you comfort. We're all looking to be comfortable. So allow yourself to be receptive to whatever kind of love that you need right now in your life, okay? And perhaps if you're on a journey and you're trying to figure out if the love is right for you, does it bring you comfort? Does it make you feel like a cloud, you know, taking a nap with a cloud blanket on top of you? A fluffy pillow, and you could sleep for hours, you know. Have you ever had like a snow day and you don't have to get up and go to school, and it's just so cozy because it's cold outside, but it's warm in the bed, and you don't have to do anything except just lie there, and it's like the day has so much potential. That's what love should feel like. That there's so much potential. That it's comfy like a snow day. And that it's relaxing and peaceful. Okay, I'm starting to feel your shift now. And I feel pretty good about that. Just breathe through this. Okay, so what else? Okay, now, as I work with your aura, I'm gonna go ahead and say love takes time. It takes patience. The love that takes the most time is always the best love, the love that stays the longest. The love that you didn't even realize was growing for so long, so that it can stay where it is. And love is also multifaceted, okay? People are going to come into your life in, you know, different durations, and they're going to leave whenever they're or you are ready for this energy to separate, and that's okay. Love doesn't have to be permanent forever. You're going to love a lot of people, and a lot of people are going to love you, and that is okay. And then
always a reflection of the love within you. So any changes that you want to make externally have to come from internal shifts. And that takes times. It can take months. It can take years. But you're worth it. You're worth this shift and this change. And for the right energy to enter into your life. And for you to be able to surrender to that energy and that energy to surrender to you, okay? Breathing through this moment, relaxing into this energy, finding the greatest amount of balance with yourself. And so now I'm just going to use some hand positions just to relax you. We've done all we needed to do. And let's just relax your energy at this moment. Sweetness. And just relax into yourself, into your body, into your energy, into your connection. And be patient. As we fluff up your energy. And just take your time here. Relax into this. Remove any distractions that prevent you from relaxing. Remove any distractions that prevent you from relaxing. And start to find yourself in this beautiful, comfy bed. Cold and snowy outside, and you're wrapped up nice and tight. And you're just breathing in and out. And there's no place that is more comfortable than this place and this moment. No other place you'd rather be except for right here, in this space and in this moment. And breathe in to who you are and what you want and what brings you comfort, and find that comfort. Understand that discomfort plays a role in the experience of the universe, but it is not to punish, only to point out, only for reflection. We're going to learn in different ways. So, take what you need and leave what you don't. Find the space to relax in yourself. Let go of anything that is no longer serving you. And connect with your deepest understanding of the beautiful energy that surrounds you. You are love. You are light. And you are courage. All things for the highest vibrational good. Continue to breathe. 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 And relax into this feeling. Well, family, you did a fantastic job. I enjoyed our session today. Please be sweet to yourselves, babies, and be loving and kind. During this Mercury retrograde and Libra transit, there is a lot of shaking up when it comes to the one-on-one dynamics that we have with others. And so this is a beautiful time to be very self-compassionate and very patient. It's leaving retrograde next week. You'll be fine. like you is working through something. So give yourself grace and you'll be able to be understanding when others need that too. So I really enjoyed this session. If you would like to be a part of our inclusive mystical self-care community, you can join us on Patreon. If you would like to become a Reiki Master Teacher, we have certifications open, and whatever you need, you'll be able to piece it together, okay? So, if no one else says it, let me go ahead and say it. Wash your hands for at least 30 seconds. Don't touch your face. Wear a mask in public. Get vaccinated and be sweet to yourself. I love you, love you, love you. Babies, cannot wait until the next time. And also, I love you. I already said that. Bye. Be sweet to yourselves. I'm really proud of you. Continue to a Reiki Master Teacher and Intuitive, and today we have a special healing session for self-care September. I thought because you are working so hard, we just have a nice relaxing sleep session. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. If you're new to the community, welcome, babies. This is your nightly self-care routine. If you're returning, love you, love you, love you. If you need more support, join our inclusive community on Patreon. And if you're looking to become a Reiki practitioner, there are trainings in the description box. So let's get started, okay? Relax here. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to fluff your energy a little bit. And I'm going to be scanning over the aura. I'm going to let you know if there's any collective messages that come up. And also just balancing your energy. So let's just work through this. I'm going to move very slowly because this is a sleep session. And I want you to feel comfortable enough to close those beautiful eyes and go to sleep. So let's move the energy in and out of the space without judgment, without need to define everything, and start to feel the energy that I'm sending. It is not an energy of waking up, but just a soft, subtle blanket of energy, of protection, of slumber. So if you ever have a tough time going to sleep, feel free to watch and share this to receive that beautiful, gentle energy that we practice in Reiki and as energy healing practitioners. I'm just going to keep going with this. So I'm going to go over your head. That's your crown. And your third eye. Your face. And just relax the face. Relax those facial muscles. Release them. Go into the throat. Give me a deep breath, inhaling and exhaling, letting it go. So I'm just going to move any excess stuff that may have been caught, whether that is in your thoughts, which is stress, in your feelings, which may have felt repressed, like you couldn't just let them come out, in your voice, where you feel like you can't say what you want to say. I'm
yourself here, breathing in and exhaling, releasing and letting go. Feeling the energy flow from the neck all the way down the chest to the lower limbs, to the feet and out, even through the arms. And let's just remove any negative energy from the body, anything that is throwing it off balance. As you all know, I teach, and so I try hard not to look at things just in a blanketed term of positive and negative, and more of the fact that just energy is energy and it's vibrational. So we're recalibrating you to the correct vibration that you need to be in, which is different for everyone. You know, someone's trash is another person's treasure. Your frequency may not be another person's frequency. Also a reminder, do not bend your frequency to someone else, and do not require someone else to bend to yours. We can all beautifully coexist in this space. So now working on the body, relaxing the shoulders here energetically, and removing that tough day, any expectations that we may put on ourselves that are no longer serving us, and release this moment. Find peace and sweetness in who we are, and find love and balance in the beauty that we create, in the moments that we share with ourselves and others. You are beautifully connected. You are divine. This is the moment where you shine. So breathe in and tap into those resources that you feel within yourself. Even see yourself connected to your energetic helpers, your archangels, ancestors, animal symbolism, your guides, whatever that is important to you. See yourself being surrounded by this energy and accepting it as it fills you up, receiving messages, or just helping you to heal. If there's any particular areas you want to focus on, whether it is emotional healing, mental healing, energetic healing, physical healing, spiritual healing, whatever you're looking to heal, it's probably going to be a combination because everything touches each other. Let's go to those areas and let's allow the energy to flow in a way that it is filling it up and it is flushing and cleansing it out, okay? So just opening yourself up, opening your heart up, opening that space up, sending in those dreams, begin to drift into the slumber, allowing sweet thoughts to flow through your head of comfort, of relaxation, of purpose, of passion, and to let go of the need to always be on. You're not going to miss anything. In fact, you're missing the opportunity to receive these beautiful, beautiful dreams. So it's time to get there, time to connect, time to find balance, time to find patience, strength, and courage. No judgment, surrendering to all that is you. Sleeping here now. And now I'm just gonna rock the energy back and forth. I'm not gonna do anything else except rocking this energy. Allowing you to find calm, allowing you to find stillness, allowing you to find balance, patience, clarity, and understanding. Bringing this energy here and allowing it to form in the way that it needs to. You can see your dreams more clearly. You can access that information. You can surrender to all that is in front of you, happening on your behalf and for your greatest good. And you can go to sleep. 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 To sleep. To sleep. To sleep. To sleep. To sleep. Rest in the moment and go to sleep. Well, family, you did a fantastic job. I hope you are deep in sleep and well rested in your energy. Take as much time as you need to continue this flow and let go of everything else. You deserve it. You have been doing so well during this self-care September, and any moment to relax you is always an exciting moment for me. Feel free to share your experience in the comments section and continue to connect with the community. If no one has said it, let me go ahead and say this, family. Wash your hands for at least 30 seconds with soap and water. Wear a mask in public. Don't touch your face. Get vaccinated and be sweet. I am Jessica Sup. I'm a Reiki master teacher and intuitive, and today we have a special healing session. It is all about, how do I say it? It's like being naive. breathe that in. And allow that to ground you, and allow it to bring you the financial support that you need, you are looking for, that you want to hold on to, a steady income, things coming into your life so that it gives you the freedom to purchase, have, or hold experiences that you desire to have at this time in your life, okay? So just breathe to that. The cinnamon. Okay. So let's just scan through, seeing what's going on here. And as we work to that, just understanding what I meant by being naive, Sometimes it's like in tarot, the Fool card. The Fool card can be, sometimes you don't need to know everything, because if you do, you won't rise to the occasion. But then there are other times where it's like you don't need to be that open to things when you should take your time, and who knows when's the right time to do that or not. That's what you gotta love about life. A situation could teeter either side. It is what it is. I think as long as you've just experienced both, you can make that individual discernment of, okay, I think this is a that kind of time, or this kind of time. Now, contrary to popular belief, I'm just kidding, I don't think a lot of people think this way about me, but when it comes to spiritual, esoteric, mystical lineages, I tell people not to be naive. I tell people to maybe be a little bit closed. And the reason why I say that is because working with the esoteric in the universe, if you're not new to the space, if you're new to the space and you're not seasoned in it, you might experience some phenomena that exist in a lot of traditions associated with one tradition, be so elated and look at that tradition as perfect and fallible and things like that. And as soon as you see something that you don't like, then it's just like your whole world crashes down. And I think that there are many traditions that are saying the exact same thing, and it is just at that time in your life, whether you want it to be a lifetime or a season, or you want to compile traditions, it should be communicating to you maybe some practices or maybe some knowledge that help you along your journey. Just because it's transformative to you right now doesn't mean it will always feel the same way. It doesn't mean that you can't always have great memories and respect, but just know that you can always be growing and expanding and leaning towards new knowledge. So you also gotta be very careful in those spaces, because I think that it is very easy to become very energetically codependent. Okay, where you'll see maybe a group of people, you really like what they're doing, you like the knowledge that they're sharing, but then when you actually get into the interpersonal dynamics, it might be real janky and it might be real weird. And I think when there are leadership positions, if the leader or the person who is mainly organizing the space, you know what, let me say it like it is, because I'll say the leader, because the way that I look at myself is I see myself in a leadership role, but I see myself as an organizer in the space, and I see it as more of just a space for you as opposed to a space to look at me like, oh yeah, I'm so great. It's more of a space for you. I wanted to think about when I was coming along in my journey, what was I missing and what would I've really liked. And for me it was a consistent community, a space that didn't require you to have a certain ideology surrender to the universe. That's what I love about the esoteric, mystical things, universe. It doesn't have to just be in a tradition. These things are practical. You can apply it in your relationships, you can apply it to your life purpose, to money, to jobs, all kinds of things like that. And I think that it's more important applied than it is in theory. And whenever you do anything in application, it's always very different from the theory. So I would say, if there is something that your life has been calling you to do, and you've been doing it as best you can, but you're ready for a higher leap, a higher jump, I would encourage you to be a little bit naive. Maybe don't freak yourself out by all the negative things that could happen, but instead say, I think I'm equipped to handle anything that could arise, to pivot, reshape, and make it better. But this is something I want, unapologetically wanting what you want. I think that's really difficult for people to accept. Oh, this is what I want, because also know that things change, you know. Your life purpose might be to help people, but maybe you do it in different ways. Maybe sometimes you teach, other times you play, other times you lead, other times you follow. Just whatever that is, you know, that you can be in a collective space and all of that. So just opening yourself up here to those experiences. And let me get y'all's opinion on this, because I was thinking about this the other day. You let me know in the comments. Do you see me as a healer, a Reiki healer, energy healer, or do you see me as an ASMR artist? Because I want to say that I see myself as a healer. I don't see myself as an ASMR artist, but I think that most people see me as an ASMR artist as opposed to no, maybe I think a healer is secondary. It's like, you know, I think Reiki ASMR is kind of taking on its own thing, or esoteric knowledge and learning is taking on its own thing. So I think I might put a poll up and ask, how do you see me? You know, because those first, I want to say 2 years, I remember I used to get comments of people like, oh my gosh, love that. Can you do a role play where it's like da 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 da? And I was like, no, because I like role plays. I like watching role plays of, like, you know, people cosplaying and doing different stuff. life is changing so much. I don't know if you all do this. Do you all go through like your old, I was gonna say Facebook, do you all go through your old just pictures and just look at the transition of your life? Child, it started, I was going through the first YouTube video all the way to today because it's about to be the 800th video, right? You know what? 800 videos in 4 years. You know, that's 100 videos a year. That's wild. That's wild. This 200 videos a year, I was like, I hope y'all were there with me when I was like, that don't sound right. That's 100 videos a year. I was like, no, it don't. That's not 100 videos. That's 200 videos a year. Yeah, it's been a real interesting. No, it's been real amazing. I can't even lie to you and say, oh, it's been real interesting. To be honest, it's been fucking amazing. It's been great. It's been great as fuck. Like, it's been lovely. It really has been a very lovely time, and it gives me, I don't know, it gives me so much stability and purpose in my own life, and it makes me really happy to know that you are coming here and taking care of yourself. I don't know, that just makes me happy to know that you're working on yourself, or that you're, you know, just to have a place for people to just enjoy self-care. I think so. There's a lot of spaces that are there to tear down, but I think that this space is to build up, you know. Yeah, no. If you know, you know. Also, if you're a fan of chocolate cake or any desserts, I don't know, over the years I seem to have grown a sweet tooth. I think most of the time I'm very a savory person. I like savory snacks. I like salty and crunchy. But I don't know. Life is good, so I think maybe I'm doing more dessert because every time I go out to eat, I be getting upset because I get food and then I'm like, if I don't have room for dessert, I be mad because I like anything a la mode. Oh my gosh, bread pudding with ice cream and caramel, chocolate brownie. I like the little molten one with the ice cream. Oh my gosh, I love carrot cake. I can enjoy red velvet cake. You know what? It is what it is. I have grown not to like cheesecake anymore. I used to like it when I was younger, but I'm real particular about cheese. I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but like when it comes to cheesecake, I only like plain cheesecake, and I like some interesting stuff. I like some like conglomerate kind of things, you know. But when it comes to cheesecake, you can put a little bit of strawberry and razzle dazzle on top. But mostly I just like it graham cracker crust, regular cheesecake. Or when it comes to mac and cheese, just regular mac and cheese. I don't like when people start putting turnips and pumpkins in there. Honestly, you know, unpopular opinion, I don't even like when seafood goes into it. I don't even like crab and stuff and shrimp. I'm not saying it's not good, it's just not for me. I don't like mac and cheese bars. I was at a work function one time and they had like a mac and cheese bar, and it wasn't a bad idea. You know, you could put scallions and bacon. I'm like, that's cute, but you know, I just like a good old mac and cheese. And I feel the same thing about a grilled cheese. I don't like all the extra stuff. Now don't get it twisted with a melt. I can enjoy a good sandwich and a sandwich breast with some cheese in it. I also don't like too much cheese in my grilled cheese. Now I can enjoy the excess of certain things in food, but So that has been an impromptu session on what are the things that one likes to eat. But whatever, we'll just go with it. Well, babies, I hope that this conversation of food has brought you. I was like, what was the original point of this? A naive and not naive sense towards life. Boom. I'm a Gemini, so I will connect 2 points that have nothing to do with each other and bring them together. And just let me say that I think over the 800 videos that we've had, I've actually been on my best behavior to not be so Gemini all the time. But today's feeling a little more Gemini than usual. Or maybe it's my moon. My moon is in Libra, so maybe I'm feeling a little bit more Libra-y, all that air. Well, sweetness, I hope if you got anything from this, it was a smile and a lightening of your load so that you can enjoy life just a little bit more sweeter. There we go. We talked about desserts for the sweetness. And you can just feel good about yourself, feel good about the space, feel good about the time you're in, and just release and trust. Things will leave your life, things will come into your life, but release. I think it's more interesting to be seen as someone who just trusts the universe and go with the opportunities in front of you than being so rigid and just not wanting to trust. I think it's nice to make room, and I try to look a little crazy as much as I can, at least in my private life. As much as I can, like, go with the flow, trust the universe. It is what it is. It's gonna work out. I don't feel like anything is big enough that can really happen where I'm just gonna be like, I'm not the first person this has happened to, so this shit is just gonna work itself out. Whatever. So be sweet to yourself, and if no one has said it to you, let me go ahead and say it. I love you, but who cares that I love you? Make sure you love yourself. I am Jessica. I'm a Reiki master teacher and intuitive, and today we have a special healing session. It's all about removing negative energy for sleep. So if you're experiencing any insomnia or just some discomfort, or you want to ground your energy, you can't be so active before bed and then you want to go to sleep and you wonder why I can't get to sleep. No, we're gonna get you nice and balanced. So if you're new to the community, welcome, babies. You are now one of my babies. So you get one kiss on the forehead. And for all of my returning babies, multiple kisses. Mama loves you. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So we start our session off with a prayer. It's not a religious prayer, it's just a prayer to root us in our individual healing experience and bring us together as a community and as a collective. And because consent matters, do I have your permission to say a prayer? Okay. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. And I just want you to hold yourself. Hold yourself to represent that there is always someone there with you. That as you walk through this life with yourself, that you never give up on yourself. And you never give up on your dreams and your goals. That your only purpose is to figure out how to enjoy this life and find things that are worthwhile living, okay? So, let's get started. Dear universe and all for the highest vibrational good only, please connect us to our highest self and validate information for our highest good only. Please allow us to release what we need to let go and embrace what allows us to grow. Let our journey encompass the lineages, traditions, religions, and spiritual paths that bring light out through us to share with others. I say all of this in the name of I am. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. So I'm just going to go all over, okay? So I'm just going to start by pulling out an old memory. And we're going to keep that old memory in the past.
session to do that too. It is just a way to fill you back up and to fill your cup up, okay? So let's just balance you here. And I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed the week of the comb. I might have to whip it back out this week as well. So just and work through that. Work through that. Every little piece. That needs to be released will be let go. Now, as we're removing this negative energy, I want you to connect in now with anything that you're nervous about, fearful, or procrastinating around. Let's work on that next. You know, I heard an interesting perspective that said most people procrastinate over things that are actually good for them, that would positively benefit. So I think that might be a little bit of analysis paralysis. So let's just clear out your energy so that you can go forward without feeling like, is this the right answer? Is that the right answer? It doesn't matter. Just make some moves and go forward. That's the only thing here that matters. Just send it on. Now, hands across your body. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, release. Couple more. Exhale, release. Let it go, let it go, let it go, okay? And just continue to move this through. And as a part of your nightly, daily, or whenever you come here, self-care routine, you can use these sessions as a reminder of the journey you're on, how far you've come, and how far you're going, that the reality or life that you want is up to you, that every little habit that you do right now builds the reality of the future. So don't be impatient because you want everything right now. Just understand that the movements and the motion that you make now will help you in the future. Okay, let's continue to just pull out each thing now. Let's remove any kind of triggering situations that make you feel like and we want ASMR triggers. We don't want life triggers. understand that, okay? Only you, only, only you have to understand that. No one else. Only you, 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 only you. Okay? Only you, only you, only you. Just work through that. Just work through that energy, through that feeling, through that balance in the moment. You have everything that you need, and you will receive everything, everything that is owed. Now fall asleep. Fall asleep. Rest and recharge your energy. Rest and recharge your energy. Rest, 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 and recharge your energy. How do you feel? How is your energy? Now, I want you to have a nice, restful sleep, whether that is all night or whether that is a cat nap. Whatever you are looking for right now, I want that to be sent to you and for you to receive that for your highest vibrational good, highest vibrational balance, and anything else that you need in these moments. So babies, if you're dreaming big this year and you need some extra help, you can head on over to the Patreon community because we have this 52-week challenge, as well as continue to come back every night as you are working through your self-care journey and experience, okay? Well, sweetness, if no one has said it, let me go ahead and say it. I love you, but who cares that I